surprising fact. This is why Jungkook hasn't shown up since he finished his military service. After completing his military service with full dedication, many soldiers are looking forward to Jungkook BTS's return to the public with various activities. Whether it's a live broadcast, a photo shoot, or even a musical surprise as he often does. But the opposite happened. Jungkook disappeared. No Weverse uploads, no Instagram posts, no public appearances, not even a single fan-spotted report usually spreads so quickly when a big idol like herself is seen anywhere. His absence for weeks after his discharge from the military raises one big question: what really happened? Now, various sources close to the Korean entertainment industry are starting to open up. And what they revealed surprised many. A source within HYB, who declined to be named, said that Jungkook personally requested a period of complete respite from public activities, both professionally and on social media, shortly after leaving the military barracks. The reason? Not because of internal conflicts or problems, but rather the need to breathe. After more than a decade of living under pressure as a global K-pop idol, followed by an all-disciplined and restrained military life, Jungkook feels that he needs to re-recognize who he is, not as a member of BTS, not as a world record-winning soloist, but as an ordinary human named Jungkook. According to the source, Jungkook proposed to his management to go on a private trip without escorts, without reporters, without the spotlight. In fact, he is said to be living temporarily outside South Korea, with his identity very closely guarded. The destination country and activities during this invisible mode period are completely kept secret. Some believe that he temporarily settled in Europe, while others call Los Angeles the main point, especially because of the mysterious activity in the elite music studio that was also associated with Jimin some time ago. However, not just to rest, Jungkook disappeared. Another surprising piece of information came from the music production side. As it turns out, Jungkook is preparing for a much bigger solo project than Golden, with a deeper, more mature, and very personal feel and message. He chose to create the songs away from the public eye in order to be completely honest in writing lyrics and concepts. One sound engineer even mentioned that Jungkook recorded the vocals as if he were telling a story to himself. He wants to come back with a masterpiece, not just an appearance. According to one American producer who is known to have worked with The Weeknd, Jungkook rejected a massive promotion scheme. He wants his next comeback to feel like an honest confession, not a market strategy. Here's why there's no teaser, no trailer, and no official speculation. Only silence is now beginning to reveal its meaning. On the other hand, ARMY is also starting to find small hints that Jungkook hasn't really been alone in his quiet moments. He is said to have met Jimin abroad at about the same time. The two are even associated with a studio project that is a total secret in Los Angeles, adding to speculation that maybe they are preparing a duet project, or even an emotional documentary that will open up another side story of the two post-conscripts. Even more touching, some fans researching old archives noticed that in one of the live broadcasts before entering the army, Jungkook once said, "I want to go without a goal. Just me and the world. Then come back when I'm ready, and you stay waiting." This sentence now feels like a silent promise that is beginning to come true. Jungkook's silence may seem foreign to some fans, but it is in that silence that one often finds the most honest form of him. If in the past Jungkook was always a figure who voiced his feelings through passionate songs, intense choreography, and a smile that was never absent, now he chooses silence. And his silence does not mean moving away, rather diving in. A Korean music industry source close to HYB said Jungkook is undergoing a very intense and deep creative process. Unlike before, where he performed with large productions, this time he is said to have recorded many songs with just a piano and one mic, without auto-tune, without fancy orchestration. It wants to voice wounds and love, longing and forgiveness, loss and resurrection in its rawest format. And in many of his self-written lyrics, there are supposedly snippets of stories about the loneliness he felt as an ordinary human being, far from the spotlight and public expectations. The thing that got a lot of ARMY going was reports that Jungkook was crying while recording one of his new songs. Not because the lyrics are too sad, but because they are too real. The song was touted as a letter to his younger self, to the 15-year-old Jungkook who once bravely left his hometown to become part of BTS. "Are you proud of me now?" That's the cut of the lyrics, according to an unofficial leak that went viral in the international fandom community. Meanwhile, Jimin, known as Jungkook's closest friend, is reportedly the only person who has direct access to this creative process. They reportedly often share music references privately, even recording at the same venue, but on separate schedules, to maintain privacy. This reinforces rumors that there is an emotional collaborative project being quietly drafted, perhaps not just a duet, but the incorporation of an artistic vision that reflects on their spiritual and emotional journey as post-conscript human beings. Interestingly, fans also found that BTS's official social media account had liked a post from a visual artist that featured an illustration of a person who sinks into silence and returns with different wings. Is that code from HYB? Or just a coincidence? In the world of BTS, nothing is really a coincidence. Some ARMY even made a timeline analysis that showed that whenever Jungkook disappeared from the public radar, it was always followed by an explosion of incredible work. Call it when he did not appear for almost 2 months before releasing 7 globally. At that time, fans were also anxious, but as a result, he brought home history. Now, Jungkook's absence feels like more than a respite. This is the transformation phase. And not just a musical transformation, but a personal one. It's not the teenager who smiles shyly at debut showcase anymore. He has become a mature artist with wounds, love, and stories ready to share with the world. ARMY, who has been with BTS in all forms and phases, chose to wait unconditionally. They knew that every second of Jungkook's silence was sculpting a masterpiece that would surpass trends, charts, and expectations. Songs that later appear not just to be heard, but to be felt because they come from the quietest place in the heart of a Jungkook who chooses to be silent, then speaks in a tone. Jungkook may not be visible today, but his traces are still felt. In the never-fading dedication of the ARMY, in hopeful speculation, and in the belief that when he returns, he will bring more than just songs. It will bring the truth, and the world will fall silent, not because of Jungkook's loss, but because they can finally hear him speak in the most honest way an artist can, through music. In a fast-paced, spotlight-filled world, true courage sometimes comes in the form of silence. Jungkook, who has always been known as energetic, perfectionist, and full of love for the stage, chose a path rarely taken by artists of his class: silence. But his decision to disappear from the public was not an escape. It is a form of responsibility to himself, to his weary soul, and to the work to which he wished to devote himself with complete honesty. Jungkook's absence since completing his mandatory military service is not simply time off. It was a moment of deep contemplation. A silent journey that the camera cannot see, cannot be guessed from the upload, and cannot be translated into a schedule of activities. Only he knows how much must be restored, reorganized, and reborn from within himself, and now, slowly, we begin to feel that the silence is changing shape into tone, become a song. It is a work that he will soon share with the world. When Jungkook returns, whether tomorrow or next week, he won't come just as a singer who misses the stage. It will come as someone who has faced himself. He will bring a work that is not just a product, but a reflection of his soul. And there, the ARMY will see not just Jungkook the idol, but Jungkook the human, and as always, the ARMY will welcome him, not with demands, not with excessive expectations, but with a warm embrace in the form of unchanging love. Because they know, in every second that he passes quietly, Jungkook is creating something that will make the world tremble again, not because of a loud voice, but because of touching honesty. Welcome back, Jungkook. We are waiting not because you left, but because we know you're preparing something worth looking forward to.